That's the devil. We're just gonna call it what it is. That is the Wi-Fi Wi-Fi devil. He shall not win here on today. But hey, everybody, welcome to Rolling Church Girl Live. It's your girl, your host, Lillian Harshaw. I hope you all are having a blessed Friday. I feel blessed and more than blessed that I am here today. We had a little drama at our home, nothing domestic or anything crazy like that. I might share it one day, but as of right now, I will not. But I will just say that I thank God that we are here, um, which it makes me even gladder. Is that a word? Gladder? Well, it's gonna be one today. Makes me gladder that I have my guest today. As y'all know, I love to say on here, I love to troll my guests before I even ask them to be on the show, and then once they say yes, I really start trolling my people. And you know what? This might turn off for 2 seconds because I just realized why my Wi-Fi is acting up because we have a cajillion Wi-Fi signals here. It ain't gonna let me switch. Oh yeah, it is. So hold on. If I leave, don't say nothing. Wait for it. All right. So I just clicked onto our stronger Wi-Fi. So anyway, yeah, we got a lot of Bluetooths and electronical, and we're basically in Wakanda. Our house is Wakanda. So, without further ado, it just gives me great honor and joy and privilege to bring to the stage, as they like to say on Clubhouse, the Bishop, Matthew
Hey,
Bradley. It's Brady, the
Brad,
second. You're the
Brad,
second.
right? It's Brad B.
Brad B.
Yeah,
I could do
good
that.
stuff.
And I know my husband watching because he'd be like, Lord, she's messing up people's names again. I do it all the time.
Don't worry
I,
about it as long as it's right on my check.
ain't that it? Ain't that the truth? Well, God bless you. Are you at work or you in your office at home?
I'm in my office at home. I'm blessed to
Okay.
be self-employed, entrepreneur, and even when I'm asleep, I'm making a couple of dollars. So I thank the Lord.
Come on now. Won't he do
Won't he?
it? Well, I'm so glad that you are here today. And thank you so much for saying yes. And
Well,
you really didn't hesitate, really.
no,
I'm really thankful and grateful for that. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you. So we're gonna dive in. You have a pretty long resume, if you will, like super long. So,
Oh yeah,
and this is only an hour show.
I
So,
can break it. I can break it down for you. I can tell you, look, born and raised in Baltimore, drug dealer in a drug gang, raised right, decided to go wrong, prodigal son, went through
hmm
I OD'd, heard God's voice, say, God, can you help me? He said, yeah, but you got to you got to make a choice. Made that choice, started worshiping God, you know, uh, military, uh, divorced multiple times. I've been through the gauntlet in life. And in a nutshell, if there was a scripture to ever voice who I am, it would be, I would say, it was good that I was afflicted because in my pain, I was able to help so many as a leader. One of the problems we got so many leaders, and they are phenomenal men and women of God, but they ain't been there. So it's not,
yeah,
you can tell me that God is good, but when I can show you what He's done for me. So we've been through everything from bad relationships. My son was abducted,
mm,
lost jobs. Yeah, we've been through it. We've been through it. And then my wife says, our moniker right now is still standing.
amen. And you know what? I'm glad you even said that because there are some people who've been saved, quote unquote, all their life,
Hmm.
and then they'll tell you the world ain't got nothing out there for you. But it's like you never really experienced the world, so how can you even preach on that? And
Hey,
I understand you can from your perspective, but for someone who's fresh walking in the door from the streets, they're gonna be like, well, how do you know that the world ain't got anything out there? Because the world got everything out there. That's why everybody
yeah.
want to stay out there. So
One of
I'm
the
glad you
things
said that.
Well, one of the things I talk to ministers, and oftentimes I've been blessed in over 20 something years to be able to help ministers and help them when they, have marital infidelities and issues with character because they haven't been exposed to it. And I was out there and I wasn't Nino Brown, but I sold enough drugs to always keep 5, 6 grand in my pocket. When they haven't had that exposure, the enemy knows what you like. And in due season, when you get to that high plateau, he's going to bring what it like. And a lot of people who never had fame, a lot of people who never been um, in the to do, that pressure hits them, and the enemy knows exactly how to hit you because he's not going to send you what you don't want. He's going to send you exactly what you want. The counterfeit always come before the promise. And because I've been there, done that, I have falls. I said I got the fall, I got the teacher, and I've been redeemed. I'm able to talk
Yeah.
to them one on one, non-judgmental, because I've done it from drugs to robberies and all kinds of stuff. Where I'm not pressed with somebody telling me why I cheated on my wife. No, I never cheated on my wife, but again, my sins are no better than yours.
Right.
And my job, the Bible says, don't, it's not about gossiping about somebody falling. It says those who are strong restore them. And my job is
Hmm.
restoration, and it's a process. So, I'm blessed to be able to help people to fall, get back up.
Amen. Now, speaking of your childhood and growing up, you come from a long, long, long line of ministers and men and women in the ministry. So, what was your childhood like growing up
And
as a PK?
the funny thing is, like my dad, my mom didn't get into ministry really until like 88, 89. But
Mm-hmm.
growing up, I had an aunt Ann, and she was a minister, and her husband. Um, I used to hang with her, so I would go to her pastor's house, and I'd be snooping, playing with my toys, but hearing. And he was a great minister, inspiration. Her pastor Bishop Leonard. He taught me how to pray. He let me pray in the church at a young age, 4 or 5 years old. He trained me up in the way I should go. So I was always around ministers, but I was allowed to live a life. It wasn't like, we were stuck with going to church and this and this and so stringent. We were allowed to watch movies, listen to music, do the Michael Jackson when the company come over and all that stuff like that. So I don't have
Mm-hmm.
them horror stories where the family was just locked in. We went to church. We loved church. We respected God. We tithed. We did offerings, but we lived. So growing up in East Baltimore, man, was great because all my friends and family, a lot of people went to the same church, and it was cool. It was cool. I was raised the right way. I knew the Ten Commandments before I was 6. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I could recite the Lord's Prayer before I was 7. Vacation
Mm-hmm.
Bible School taught me the model prayer for God to love the world. So I knew those things. I knew I
Right.
wanted to be a minister, but I had church hurt at that age because people was telling me what I couldn't do. And I was blessed with this tenacious attitude. If you tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna prove you wrong. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
prove you wrong. I ain't gonna get the homeboy hookup. So growing up in ministry, it wasn't until my middle teen, 15, 16, where we had church hurt. When one of the preferred kids was picking on my brother, and I remember my mother told me, if it happens, I'm supposed to put my hands on somebody, and she'll deal with it later. So I did that, and the church folks got
Mm-hmm.
mad and busted us. Didn't realize he was picking on my brother, so we left the church, and I made a statement. I said, "Man, I'm gonna go out. I'm going since y'all won't allow me to church. I'm gonna go out in the world, become the biggest drug dealer I can, and y'all gonna be sorry y'all let me go." And be careful what you say out of your mouth, because I was like
Right.
mad. So, and that led to me running to some guys, and they showing me how to fix stuff and how to cook up cocaine and stuff at a 15-year-old. And I just started going for what I know.
Mm-hmm.
I had the gift to attract people, but that was for the Satan will corrupt that thing that God meant for good. So I was out there just attracting folks. I went into the military, came home years later. I sold drugs throughout my high school years because my mom and them wasn't into the fashion. They say you go to school for education, not for fashion. But people
Right.
don't understand that being a social outcast can destroy a person's psyche and their persona. So you can't go to school and try to be it's not like you're trying to be with the in crowd, but you don't want to go there as a misfit in the target of other children. So, I was
Right.
selling, I would walk out, my mother would shop, we would shop out at Epstein. I'm like, ugh. The mannequin had a plaid shirt and some jeans was called Uncle
Yeah.
Charlie's. You know,
Yeah.
we went to Favor and what the Olympians when everybody wear Nikes and Adidas. So as soon as I got
Mm-hmm.
to school, I changed up out of that crap and put
I
my
know that's
Adidas
right.
on and stuff.
Trying to
So
fit in.
you don't know. I mean, at least look normal to people leave you
Right.
alone because kids are cruel, and we
Yeah.
as adults gotta understand. We can say whatever we want, but our children, we can't put targets on their back when you send them to school. So once I got out of school, I went in the military, came home with all these, yeah, I'm gonna get this, and this, and then I ran into reality where, there wasn't nothing. I thought I would come home and get a great job. It didn't happen. I was working a job selling vacuum cleaners door to door, making a lot of money for my boss, and one of my best friends slept with my girlfriend, and I was
Mm.
heartbroken. And I thought the boss was looking for me, but he told me to get out of his office. And it was a pivotal time in my life. I was crushed. I was broken on multiple things. And I ran into an old drug dealing buddy of mine. And he said, man, look, don't worry about that. I can put 5 grand in your pocket every day if you come down and help me. And I went down there, I surveyed the land, used my military knowledge to set up shop, and we had 12 blocks running uh, drug business, and it was safe. And we set up a system where we didn't do it in front of the neighbors. But we made sure that nobody got evicted in those 12 blocks because we wanted to make
Wow.
sure we knew who was in the neighborhood. And it was funny because it was Bishop Eddie Long who became my spiritual father. He told me already then God would set you up as pastor. You had 12 blocks where you made sure people had food, people had air conditioning. Ice cream man had a tab for me every day because I didn't want no kid to
Mm-hmm.
feel left out. So if the ice cream man came through the neighborhood, he used to give everybody what they want and give me the tab. There was
Mm-hmm.
no homeless. People was hungry. They could run to the sub shop, come out, give me the tab. I would give them a couple dollars to eat. And one of the guys in
Wow.
the neighborhood was a deacon. He saw me and he came and sat beside me and had some peanuts. We was eating. He said, I see you out here every day. You a smart individual. God has more for you than this. And I was like, well, whatever. I ain't trying to hear about that. A couple of weeks
Mm-hmm.
later, I OD'd, and I heard my best friend of them say, if I die, we're gonna throw him in the alley because we can't make the spot hot. Now he didn't say I'm gonna take him to the hospital and just drop him off or put him in the cab or call an ambulance. They was gonna throw me in the alley, and it broke my heart. And
And
then his
these were
girl,
your friends.
they were supposed friends, you
Yeah.
know. And
Shut
I
up.
heard that, and that's when I had my intimate contact with God, where God could choose you this day who you want to serve. I said, God, if you get me through this, guaranteed, you ain't got to worry about it. So as soon as I came to, I went home, called my mama up. I only had one outfit I could wear. I gave away all my drug stuff. I had one outfit. It was a purple pair of pants, a purple shirt, and a purple tie with purple Stacy Adams.
Come
I
through,
was just,
purple.
you don't know. But here's the prophetic part, because when I went to the church that day, I gave my life to Christ, and the guest preacher said that purple was prophetic of the position that God's going to elevate you in due season. And now I'm a bishop, and I love my purple. So,
Yes.
but but it was due some trials and tribulations, even in the ministry game. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's hard because I wasn't in the in crowd, and I was shunned by even ministers, even going to ministry school. But I always tell people this: don't stress to be part of the in crowd. God will lead you before great and mighty men. And it was at the
Yeah.
time of you remember MySpace? I'm dating
Yes, I
myself.
do remember MySpace. I
I'm
had my
dating
space.
myself. Uh, I met a gentleman on MySpace, and we would talk all the time. We were good friends. And I told him about, I had, been blackballed by some ministers in town because I wouldn't bow. What happened? We had a major minister with Bishop Noel Jones. He came to town, and the
Hmm.
preachers of that area, they told us we were the junior ministers. But again, remember, I'm out of the street. I'm working every
Right.
day. I'm working at a clinic. I'm not selling drugs. I'm doing the right thing. They told us when we go to the restaurant to only order off the entree. But again, I still had this persona that I don't need.
Rebellion in you. Yeah.
Yeah, it was rebellion because I was like, I don't like need
Mm.
nobody to buy me nothing. If I worked all day, so I'm gonna get me a steak. I ordered my steak
Hmm.
dinner, and I told him to get it a separate bill. One of the ministers in the city, he came over and told me I was hard headed, stubborn. You ain't never going to make it. I said, number one, you're not going to talk to a grown man like that at 24 years old. Number two, I'm paying for my own way. I had $100 bill on. And number three,
Mhm.
if this is what ministry is about, kissing hind parts and all that stuff, it ain't for me. So I shared
Mhm.
that with my buddy on MySpace, and he told me, "Well, come to Georgia. I got somebody I want you to meet." Now, remember,
Mhm.
I don't know nothing about Georgia, never been. I had the faith to ask my boss, could I take one of the vans? I had that at that time. I was working at a car dealership. He said, "We're going to take it, man." And I
Mhm.
drove through the night with my wife at that time and my best friend, one of my ministers. We drove through the night. I got to Georgia, and when I pulled up at New Birth, I didn't know what. I never seen a church bigger than like maybe a medium sized
Mhm.
church in Baltimore. We pull up there. I'm in the parking lot. I went in there and said, "Hi, I'm here for the ordination." He said, "Ain't no ordination today," so I thought I was being punked or something.
Right.
So um, the guy came out, he grabbed me and took me into a room. He said, "The church don't know, the bishop didn't want everybody to know." I met Bernice King, I met William Murphy, I met Darwin Hobbs, I met Byron
Wow.
Cage, all these guys. And
Mm.
again, I'm not into the church scene, so I didn't know who they were,
You just
you
looking
know.
like who y'all?
Yeah, yeah. I knew Bernice King because of,
Mm.
her father, but the rest of them and Mother Cage and everything. So they brought us out in the middle of the service. And then Bishop Long said the reason he did it that way because if he said he was doing an ordination, people wouldn't come. So he said, that's normally, oh, I'm not going to come to that. I just want to come to church and get my word. So he did it in front of everybody. And
Mhm.
it ordained us, gave us our paperwork, and then he gave me like $4,800 to go back to Baltimore and say, set up your ministry and I'll cover you. And I'm like, this guy dude don't even know me. And he gave me $4,800. I mean, I'm like, I
Man.
was I was scared. I was really scared
Yeah.
because he asked me, what
But
do you
this is
need
a
for ministry?
setup. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, there's something going on here. But man, he
Yeah.
sowed into our ministry and we started off with a wing and a prayer. I hit the street, started giving out flyers. I started a basketball team and I started getting the guys off the corner to play basketball with me. But one of the parameters was you got to go to church at least twice a month. And we
Mhm.
grew our church from 3 people to about 107 within 90 days. Uh,
That's some
and
growth.
yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just preaching and teaching Bible study. At one time, my aunt hosted Bible study at our house, and we had every bit of 78 people in our house all over the place. And I was
Wow.
just teaching the Bible in my own special way. And my wife said the day even at a funeral we attended today that I've spoiled our people because they're so used of my style of preaching that when they go to
Mhm.
traditional places they fall asleep. So I
Like,
mean I
oh, this
preach.
is so
Yeah.
boring. Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to preach using music, movies like The Color Purple, illustrations. It's
You make it
fun, it's
plain.
impact.
You make it
Yeah, it's
plain. Yeah.
right, and we have fun. It should be fun,
Mhm.
and my sons love going to church. I mean, they love it, and I don't have to tell them. They up before me with their clothes on. Dad, you ready?
That's all
Ready?
right.
Ready?
Mhm.
And I guess we never forced our children to go to church. They go because they want to go. I never forced my
Mhm.
wife into a first lady's role. It's her choice and what she want to do. And I let the church know I married her. You did, and you're not going to
Mhm.
force my wife or put that undue pressure on her. So
Mhm.
in a nutshell, we got 19 minutes, and I give you my whole life story, except for the fact I was divorced a couple of times, and
Mhm.
out of that came my book. I thought I
Mhm.
said, there's no books out there to tell a man how to get back on top when he falls. There is no book like that.
Right.
And I just poured into this book. It took me 4 years to write. And
Mhm.
if the devil was in my computer, because every time I tried to complete it, like the final 4 chapters, it kept erasing. So one Holy Week, I said, after I preached the seven last word, I stayed up for 2 days. I did not sleep for 2 days, and I finished that book. And
Wow.
I put it out. And since I put it out, self-published, I've had publishing companies reach out to
Mhm.
me trying to buy the rights from me. I've had this, and people say, "You stupid man, you should sell that book." And right now, I'm just building on it. I'm about to start master classes for it, helping people
Mhm.
with to break up bad relationships, ending that cycle. I just had to do it because I feel that's a calling. And me and my wife for the last, I say, 12 years have been doing marital counseling with couples and premarital counseling. And I have a stat that I hate, but it's good. 78%
Mhm.
of the people that come to me and her for premarital counseling wind up not getting married.
Mhm.
Because in my 8 sessions, we dig deep. We dig deep, and I want to find out your real why you want to get married. And then once I add the Bible to it and we share our experiences, a lot of them say, well, maybe we're not ready for this because we take we take the glitz and glamour off of it.
Yeah.
1 month after my wife, me and her, I was married, she was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Mm.
I don't have any biological children, so I found out right then that I would not have any biological children on this side of Zion. So
Mhm.
that's a stunner. And then we went through the
Mhm.
cancer. But I heard God whisper in my ear, "Help the women." So I organized just a women's empowerment session I called Detox, and we brought women from
Mm.
all over the city together. And in that instance, I saw in my spirit while sitting in the pulpit that a woman wanted to kill herself. She said, "After I
Mm.
leave this place, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna die." And I even saw that she left her children with her sister, and she said she was tired of going through. So I asked the people there, I said, "All you beautiful ladies," and I had called up three of my favorite singers, and they sang and they led praise and worship in a phenomenal time. I said, "I need every lady in here to dig deep. It's not for me. I don't want, but there's a need that God needs to meet." We gathered up thousands of dollars and put it in a big manila envelope. And I saw the woman in my spirit and I said, "You come here." And I said, "You plan on going home today and killing yourself because you lost your job, you stressed out, your man that left you, all that." And God said, "You
Mhm.
shall live and not die." And we gave her the envelope full of money.
Mhm.
And she just passed out. She literally fainted. And she came to and said, "I had planned this and this and this." So out of that ceremony, young lady came to us and said, "There's a child about to go into the system that I think you should, y'all, that needs to be with you," which was at the time, we adopted the baby and we
Mhm.
took the baby home, but we didn't know that if we had when we met, if we had started having sex, that he is the exact age of the child that we're going to have.
Wow. Wow. Look at
Yep.
God. Wow.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
but I wouldn't have known that if I didn't wasn't obedient to God and had that service to
Mhm.
help. I was so focused on helping women, encouraging them, and then my wife went and had a mastectomy that Monday after that Saturday. But out of that,
Mm.
it forced her to get well to go pick up our baby. We picked him up on Good Friday and brought
Mhm.
him home, and he's been with us ever since. A few years later, his biological family, which we kept in contact with, requested to have him come to a birthday party, and they took him and they never brought him home. So for 4.5 months, he was missing, and I was trying to get help. It was on Facebook. A lot of people remember that. I was reaching out to
Mhm.
people trying to help me find my baby boy, and we had people all over the DMV looking for my boy. And
Wow.
I cried so much that I couldn't cry anymore. My animals in my house were crying. The dog was crying,
Mhm.
cat was crying, my son was crying. I felt so helpless. And then the Holy Ghost, man, I'm gonna tell y'all, this is crazy. He I said, I remembered something in the spirit. I woke up and I said to my wife, I said, "Do you remember the tag number of the people that took them?" And because she had been harassed by them, so she had been to court to try to get an ex parte against them,
Mhm.
harassing her, and she remembered. And we found them in DC, and we got them.
Wow.
And we was going through the thing where I don't care if you're a bishop, apostle, it don't matter. The system is not created to help us. We found out it was a civil matter, so even though the court here said we had legal right to the baby, that they wouldn't reinforce it. As a matter of fact, I almost got locked up in Prince Charles County because the sheriff told me to get out of his county or he was gonna lock me up. So I was upset, and I was
Mm-mm.
like, "Yeah." So I wrote a letter on my bishop letterhead telling the judge everything. I just laid it out. Look, I'm not getting no help. I don't have any faith in the system. And immediately
Mhm.
she sent out a thing saying, "I want all of y'all in my court." My son came home 2 days before Thanksgiving, and for the matter of a few months, we had the courts on our side, public on our side. We were able to adopt him a few months later because the attorney that I used for the adoption botched it, and
Okay.
he didn't finish it. So it was a blessing. All things work out to those who love the Lord and keep
Yeah.
His word. And
Now,
that's
how
just a
did you
nutshell.
come up with no? How did you come up with your title, "Grieve Easy"? Though.
It's an oxymoronic statement. It's a conundrum.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you're to grieve, and this is what we teach our boys. We tell our boys stop crying. We tell people it's going to be okay, or we tell
Yeah.
them if you really believe in God, you shouldn't be going through that. That's a lie. That's a lie because that you read the Bible, even God grieved. Christ grieved.
Mm-hmm.
They said he was sad when he found out his buddy Lazarus was died. So
Mm-hmm.
grieve easy. I want you to grieve, but I don't want it to be up to a point that it kills you. Experience it, learn your lesson, and because you're going to live through it. It's not the book wasn't written to tell you how to do it. It's a why book, and I share my experience. I'm very candid. As a matter of fact, that's another book that caused me to fall out with a lot of ministers in my city because they said it was too graphic for a minister, a man of God, to write something that transparent. They said, I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't write it. This right here is going to make you look this way. I could care less how I look, you know,
It's the truth.
intimacy.
Yeah.
It's the
It's
truth.
the truth. Yeah.
It's really, and I said to the point, I learned this from selling drugs. Before you get somebody addicted to your drug or get a new client, you give them a tester. So what I did was I shared my first chapter. When you go to the website, you can get the first chapter for free.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, and I'm blessed, that was anointed. Everybody who reads the first chapter buys the book. People be reading the book, and I was on a bus one day, and a lady was reading my book. I never told her I was the author, although I'm on the cover. I'm on it, and
Mm-hmm.
she was talking to the book. She said, "I know that's right." Oh, go out. She was just talking, and then members of my church, when I first had the
Mm-hmm.
book, I gave it to them, and they started reading and started talking to the book. And then people just started calling me from around the country, like, "Hey," and this book is old, really. I released it in '95, but it's been in high rotation. I re-released it, and then I did it as an ebook. And my ebooks every month, people are buying the ebook. They're buying the ebook, but my coup de grace is I'm auditioning voice actors to do an audio book. I want an audio
Yes.
book out there
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You should
because
do that. And I love how you make sure you tell people that this is not a how-to book.
no,
Yeah.
I just list out my journey. I give
Mm-hmm.
you a foundation. Every
Mm-hmm.
chapter has questions at the end that only you can answer. And if you answer it honestly, you're going to get a foundation and some healing and deliverance. So, and what happens, I wrote the whole book and I let my English teacher read it. And he said, "You know what would make this book perfect?" I said, "What?" He said, "Questions at the end." So I put questions at the end as if it was a workbook for people to work out their own progress. And
Mm-hmm.
it started ministering to so many people. I can't say their names because of disclosure, but I had
Right.
some big name pastors reach out to me that were going through all kinds of marital issues, and they read my book. They did the process. They did their homework, and they testified. And I said, only if these guys would, like, okay, let's endorse the book. I don't need you to tell everybody your business. Just endorse the book because I told my wife I will not sell. God told me do not sell the rights to this book. He said
Mm-hmm.
He said this is generational wealth. And he said, just like I took you before great and mighty men, I'll do the same thing in due season. Now, due season ain't always tomorrow or the next week. So I started preparing myself before you reached out to me to do a master's class to help people. There are a lot of people that went through breakups, and
Yeah.
divorces who, and there's no holistic services out there. You go to church, you church, and they go through this thing where boom, 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 boom. My thing is right now, I want to be your friend, and I've been counseling people for years, helping them go through those hard moments, taking them chapter by chapter my book as a lesson. And by the time we finish our 90-day cycle, man, those people are doing great. They're doing great. Are they fully whole? No. 90 days ain't going to heal your heart completely, but they have the tools and the practices in place for 90 days to get past that, so they can live and reinvent themselves. A lot of times when we have that breakup, we stop living. I told them, get
Yeah.
a new hairstyle, trade
Mm-hmm.
that old car in, get rid of everything. And I was just doing
Mm-hmm.
this thing, and it became great. I mean, I love. helping people rediscover life after a relationship because we
Mhm.
lose ourselves in relationships often, especially our women. You
Yeah.
guys are nurturers by nature,
Yeah.
and you
And
you you
sometimes
think
we're so busy to quit to conform to make this man happy, and then all of a sudden you get tired of conforming, and now the man is like, what's wrong with you? And then
mhm,
that's when they'll start bumping heads, and
mhm,
that's where the trouble come in. And like I've told like people before, because I've been married before, and a lot of it wasn't, I'm gonna say it wasn't all him or
right,
them, because I was married more than one.
mhm,
A lot of it was me, because I was having problems with learning who I was. And then when I
mhm,
figured out who I was, then God sent me somebody who will be compatible to my goofiness, and let me be goofy, and let me be
yes,
serious, or let me be weepy or girly or sensitive or tomboy or whatever mood I feel like being in. And it was okay. And
mhm.
it's a blessing when you can be you with
Oh,
somebody else, and they can be them with you, and y'all could be so opposite, but it's okay. Or y'all could be alike, and it's okay, but y'all are good for each other.
I'm gonna make
It's
you
a
laugh.
blessing. Huh?
Excuse me. I want to make you laugh. I want to make you laugh. My
Okay.
ex-wife went to see my now wife and told her, if you want to know anything about him, blah blah blah, I can tell you. I had, using the life lessons that I wrote down in the book that I live by.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have become a total different person. And my wife says, I'm crazy at home. I'm not the bishop at home. I'm Matt. I'm crazy Matt. I wrestle with my kids on the sofa. I
Mm-hmm.
chase the dog around the house. I'm
Mm-hmm.
always joking and laughing. My wife goes in the kitchen. I go behind her playing around, smack on the butt and stuff like that. My kids be laughing.
Right.
It's like our house is like a sitcom. And it's if people can't, and when people meet me and my wife, it's like we can't believe 12 years y'all been together and y'all still goofy. I said because I
Yes.
learned that book told me I can grieve, but then after you're grieving, comes your victory. And I got the girl of my dreams. I met my wife. I saw my wife on the bus in 1988. Oh, she
Mm-hmm.
was the fine. She was fine, boy. I got on the bus. I had just finished smoking some marijuana too. I got on the bus and I saw
Uh-huh.
her, and she said she couldn't talk to me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, why can't you talk to me? And she was
Mm-hmm.
like, you a bad boy. I said, all right, well, I'm gonna marry you one day. And I went in the back of the
Mm-mm.
bus and hung out with my buddy. 20 something years later, we met at my cousin's wedding, and I had just finished preaching at Pentecostal Assemblies of the World's youth conference. And we went.
Mm-hmm.
I saw her, and she was behind my mother and father. And I said, "Oh my God, the Lord is my shepherd. He know what I want." I said, "Wait a minute, that girl looked familiar." And
Uh-huh.
she had a nice tan and everything. She was all
Mm-hmm.
buttery and looking all good. I said, "Ooh."
Mm-hmm. Who that?
A lot of women in the church knew me from because I was on television at the time. I was
Mm-hmm.
doing my ministry was on the cable. I had got about 30 minutes on cable, so my ministry was out there. So those women was in
Mm-hmm.
there. They was like they was on me, boy, like a cheap suit. But I didn't want none of
But
them. I
for
saw
wrong
what I
reason, yeah.
wanted.
They was in it for the glamour and the fame and whatnot. Yeah, the buffoonery of it all. But go
So I
ahead.
sat down beside her, and then all my aunts. I had like 8 aunts. They all surrounded me. And then my aunt
Mm-hmm.
and the one who trained me in ministry, she said, "The Spirit of God said that's gonna be your wife." I said, "Aunt Ann, I don't even know that woman. She might be married right now." He would have
Mm-hmm.
told me that. So all my aunts started liking and everything. And then we went to
Mm-hmm.
the reception. I gave her some candy. I didn't know her name was Candy. I said, "You want some candy?" She said, "Oh, you know my name."
Aw.
But here's the crazy part. I know
Mm-hmm.
her whole family. Her uncle worked with me when I was a correction officer. Her brother and me had become real good friends because he was the manager of the GameStop. I knew
Mm-hmm.
her aunt because she was a school teacher for my cousin.
Mm-hmm.
And my cousin's husband would go see her when she was working at the tax place. And then her other cousin was in the military with me. So I knew her family, but I never knew her. And her father
Mm-hmm.
was a police officer, and he chased me and my buddies off the corners and stuff.
Wow.
So it's isn't that crazy? Isn't
Full
that
circle.
crazy? So, when I got with her, it was awesome, man. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We've been through breast cancer. She had a brain tumor.
Oh
Um,
wow.
we've been through everything, but I wouldn't trade it all in for the world because it made us better. She's my ride or die,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. And it's been great. When it comes to the relationship, man, I tell all y'all ain't see relationship. If y'all go with if you be yourself and try to stop being what everybody else trying to make you, you'll enjoy your relationship. And that's what we do.
Absolutely.
She's
Stop
my
trying to
ride.
be something that you're not.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
like surprising her. I always like surprising her. I
Mm-hmm.
surprised her on Mother's Day with a brand new car. I snuck around
Mm-hmm.
and bought her a new wedding set. I like surprising her. And then, she
Mm-hmm.
likes surprising me, and we just like that. We
Yeah.
love one another. And the boys, my kids all love. Oh my God. We all both.
That sound like me and my husband, because he'll come home from work and I'll be standing in the door and I'll just start dancing in the doorway. He'll be like, "Do you even care if they're looking?" I'm like, "No, let them see what black love look like."
Exact. You know what? That's what it has to be. And you
Mm-hmm.
said that, you really when we talked first, when you first connected, I started
Mm-hmm.
really pulling out, digging in the crates, pulling out my notes and stuff because I said, you know what, God, I want to be used and I don't want to be a normal preacher. I want to be able to sit down in a room full of people going through hell and still show them the light of heaven.
Right.
If I may not can repair your relationship, but I can help you repair you. The last chapter of
Mm-hmm.
my book came from Jay-Z. It didn't come from a gospel song. It didn't come from a preaching. It came from Jay-Z, and it's
Come
entitled
on now.
"Let Me Reintroduce Myself." My name is, and at the end, it's rediscovering who you are, the
Yeah.
new you. And
Yeah.
I teach people to do do the homework, like Ayana Van said, do the homework, discover how you got here. I ask
Mm-hmm.
uh, strategic questions that break people down. And it really breaks you down to say, was I really in love or just infatuated? Was the relationship was over a long time ago. I'm just holding on to it because I'm scared to try something new.
Yeah.
These are questions we have to ask.
I'm comfortable,
Why?
man. I'm comfortable in this and I'm
Uncomfortable.
scared to be uncomfortable. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm getting ready for a big relaunch. I'll let you know what's going on. We're going to do a mastermind session. I'm going to have hundreds of people on the Zoom session. We're going to get
Mm-hmm.
down and dirty. We're going to create healing and wholeness throughout the land and celebrate Black love. I want to have a big conference somewhere at a resort where we can give out free events. They can come out and sit down and enjoy themselves and see Black
Mm.
love personified.
Yeah.
Flawed Black love. Okay, say
Just
flawed
real,
because right.
real genuine. This is not not this one, but this ain't the Cosby show. This is just
Uh,
some for real, for
more like
real.
Martin, more like Martin,
More
not
like
Cosby
Martin.
show.
Yeah, more like Martin Love. Yeah. Because I, like I said, he just be looking at me like, you. He said, "You just don't know when to turn it off, do you?" I'll be like, "Nope," and I'll just start back up all over again. He,
Exactly. Exactly. My wife says, and she'll tell you, man, she's like, this guy is crazy. I keep telling
Mhm.
her, I said, he's not the bishop right now. He my son's friend. And it's funny, it helped with our blended family. Because it's weird. She said it's weird because me and her ex, the one she was dating when we met on the bus, it was it. Me and him are
Mhm.
good. We're good. We're good. We both got so many similarities. We both were in the car business and everything. So when we meet, we'll disappear, go off talking, and she said it's weird to see your ex in your now cool. I said because people have placed so much toxicity in exes and baby daddies that we can't
I hate that
mature.
term. I absolutely
Right.
hate that term. Baby daddy and baby mama.
Yeah.
I hate
Yeah.
those two terms because it was like that wasn't your baby daddy when y'all was together, and that
Right.
wasn't your
That's no
baby mama when y'all was together. That was
exactly.
my
I said
boo. That was my hun. And I'm like, no, that's my children's father,
right.
and
Right.
I'm your children's mother. Don't give me that title. Don't do
Right.
that.
So we're mature. When
Yeah,
my
yeah,
granddaughter was born, I don't have steps in my family. The only steps you got is the one down to the basement and up the steps. I don't call children stepchildren because
me
they put
either.
division between you and them. They are all my children. When your wife became me, we had the Esther vow thing. Your people
Mm-hmm.
shall be my people. Your God will be
Mm-hmm.
my God. Will you large, I large. That's how we get
Mm,
down. And
okay.
so those children are mine. My daughter. She knows good and well she ever need anything. She got, she's been blessed with multiple fathers who love her. My sons know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care where they came from, they my boys. They 100% my
Right.
DNA. You can't hang around me and not become part of what I am. And, I never told them to call me dad, but they do. And I really I don't have steps. They are all my children. Sometimes I tell you, my wife, I'm a little possessive with my children because they
Mm-hmm.
mine. I, you know,
Yeah.
they mine, and I will die for them. And it's
Yeah.
not a,
Because we're
you
like
know,
a Brady Bunch family too, my husband's children and his previous wife, she passed away, God rest her soul. Their children together are, well, their families are my family, and vice versa. And I'm like, I will go to jail for any of y'all. Don't
all
think
of
I
them.
won't. Don't think I
You
won't.
don't know?
And I'll be like Samuel Jackson. Yeah, I did it.
Uh-huh. I told them, I
And
said, the army didn't train me to be who I am for nothing.
listen, I told my kid, I said, y'all just don't know. Mommy ain't always been this. Mommy was a little rough. She's like, oh, we know you're a crazy person. I'm like, long as y'all know.
Right,
but
right.
but Jesus redeemed me. But there's still,
Hmm.
but I'm still a work in progress, Lord. But
Exactly.
my husband just commented. He said, most interesting interview I've seen. One of my wife's shows, provocative, unapologetic, and real. You are a
Oh yeah.
God sent breath of fresh air.
Peace
You
and
are the
blessings.
real deal. Thank you. That's my biggest supporter. If it
Oh
don't nobody
man.
else watch this show, I know he's watching.
Man, it's such a breath of fresh air. I love the title
Hmm.
of it.
Thank you.
And I loved it. And I said, man, I love it because there has to be a chance. People don't know who you are until they know that you really care about them. They don't know nothing about you. And what I do share is the reality of my life. There is
Hmm.
no trial or tribulation that I didn't go through that I'm ashamed of.
Hmm.
It was, the Bible said it was good I was afflicted to see the salvation of the Lord. All those things make me who I am today. It makes me appreciate my wife. It makes, at the time when she was going through cancer, when she went through brain tumor, I had our little one. He was little at the time. He would go to work with me. I'm a finance manager at a car dealership. He's in the
Hmm.
swing. He's in the crib, and I'm working. I
Oh.
took care of him. I did all that. I made sure
Hmm.
our oldest son, would go to school and he get his needs and he take his shower and he get his homework. We did that. I did that to make. I told her. She said when she came home, she felt kind of bad because we had such a bond that she felt left out. I said, no, you're not left out, Queen. You still me. You get well, and then you can assume these duties later. But while you
Hmm.
getting well, you got a man that's going to handle his business.
Ain't
And
that it?
anything ever happened to her, I told her, I said, anything ever happened to you, I'm gonna keep these babies together, and we're gonna make sure they're good. And you want to fight them. You're not gonna take these children from me. So don't even worry about it. Just get well. And I mean
That's
that.
right.
I just mean that from the bottom of my heart. And because of that love for kids, we started our football program. We
Hmm.
started the Baltimore Football Academy Wolfpack. And it's not a knock on everybody, but I just looked at football leagues and little leagues around the city. It's just, it's not where I've seen our Caucasian brothers and sisters program. So I got together some like-minded businessmen and we created the Baltimore Football Academy. It's a
Hmm.
mentorship academy because we found out a lot of kids, a lot of our young men after football season were getting in trouble. They were stealing cars, they were doing all kinds of stuff because they didn't have that supervision. So we created this program to be a 365-day a year program where weekly we get the kids and we do things with them off football. We use football as the drawing mechanism and to teach, community and teamwork, self-worth and self-discipline. But we want to
Hmm.
create a family with these kids. Not only for that, they get scholarships, we maintain their academics. We do a lot of things with our children to open them up to life just outside of Baltimore and all the horror stories they see on television. One of my biggest problems today is coaches. I got to get coaches that meet the vision because I don't need coaches who try to live vicariously through our children. We want
Hmm.
men mentors who are good role models who don't look at this, a loss is just a loss, but we want to keep these children focused in our community. I'm tired of everybody saying these kids are bad or this generation is bad and all that stuff. It's only bad because we sit back and point our fingers. How do we
Yeah.
turn our city around? Well, you give me 100 kids and have them part of our program. I didn't ask people for money. I just trusted God. And we didn't have no money in our bank account. And right now we got equipment coming from Germany because a coach in Germany heard about us through
Mm-hmm.
one of our board members, and they're sending us equipment and stuff. But I want more kids to come out ages 6 through 13. I want more coaches to come out. If you coached before, you didn't. We do background checks and everything. We just want to give back to our children in the community because they deserve it. I mean, they're
Yeah.
the ones who deserve it.
Yeah.
You know,
And
and
one of your quotes that you have on your Facebook is man creates his own conditions. Is
that's
that
it.
something that you push on these young men in your group or on
Yep.
your team?
Yes. I live by that. People can say, well, life is this way because the white man did this and this. Man create their own conditions. If you
Yeah.
buy into that, you become that. But I believe I'm bigger than what somebody else can do. If you won't
Yeah.
hire me, I'll make up a job. That's how I
Hmm.
look at everybody. If you
Yeah, they
won't
want to
hire
blame
me,
their color, their family history, the past relationships on what's going on their present day. You,
mhm,
if it's your present day, you're doing this. It has
right,
nothing to do with back then. This is you
right.
now.
That is
Yeah.
my moniker. I want that on
Yeah.
my tag. Man creates his own conditions because again, a lot of the situations that I learned from or which formed me was the conditions I created. Conditions
Mm-hmm.
come from choices. It comes from choices. You have to choose the right way. You know,
Mm-hmm.
choose what you're going to do. Choose. You got to. Every choice you make has an impact. Therefore, you create the condition. If you
Right.
want more money, the first thing is people. I always ask people, say they say, "I want more money." I said, "So what are you supposed to do? Get another job?" No. The first thing I need you to do is educate yourself on money. Learn
Mm-hmm.
how to budget. Learn how to do these things. Credit, and then God says in His Word that He will, if you're faithful over the few things, He'll make you rule over much more. In order for you
Mm-hmm.
to be faithful, you have to have knowledge of it. Most of us, as soon as we got them stimulus checks, they went to Vegas.
Yeah.
I'm seeing people, and then you broke. You don't have life insurance. You don't have savings accounts. You're living on a wing and a prayer, and it's no
Your
longer
bills
is
are
it
still
accepted.
2 months behind.
And if you die, guess what? GoFundMe gonna bury you. No, that's old. You
Yeah.
spend your money and you want to spend mine. And what happens is wealth is attracted to a wise person. Wealth is attracted to wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Wise people, who's in moderation and self-discipline and things of that nature. So I told people that's why I say man create their own condition. You want more money, educate yourself.
Absolutely.
Change your lifestyle. So I love it. I just love it.
Now, what's next for you besides a lot? Because you already got a lot. what else is going on with you? What's next for you in the
What's
midst?
next
Because
for
I
me?
know y'all collaborating.
Oh yeah, this football thing has been taking a lot, but what's next for me is to build a community-based ministry here in Baltimore, where our focus
Okay.
is on the people. I don't want you to do choir anniversary. I think we do so much in church that it irritates me as a preacher.
The building fund.
Oh my God, how you going? That building fund been building even after we got the new church. We got a new building fund, and that's illegal, right? Once
No,
you
I
once
didn't
you
know
didn't know
that.
that? It's illegal.
No.
Once you've built the building and stuff and you allocated the funds, you can't be telling like another building fund.
Oh,
People
that
use
is
that building
hilarious.
because they use it as the budget fund. No, it's only used as a fundraiser to get the building to
Hmm.
where it needs to be, and then that once you get it, it should go down to a zero until such time as you need to build another one. But I just want to
Listen.
build. I have food co-op programs and stuff,
Hmm.
and I just want to be a church that the doors are always open. I want a
Hmm.
warehouse attached to my church so we can put clothes, food, baby formula, everything that's needed in the house by the people that they can come by and get it. If a house burns down, my ministers are dispatched to you. They can go in our warehouse and get everything you need. That's what I want to be known for. We
Yeah.
send all this stuff to Africa, and God bless those people. They need it. But what about the urban ministries we have here, where we have homeless people under bridges and stuff like that? I
Just
want to
around
be
your
that.
corner. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're
So I
right.
want that's what's next for me. My new ministry that God gave me is called Rock Nation Ministries, and it's like an acronym. Rock is Revelation of Christ's Kingdom.
Okay.
Rock Nation Ministries. But at this present time, while things are being put together, we are assisting my mom's church in recovering from COVID. I'm
Mm-hmm.
there until such a time that God called me forward. But I'm just happy to be utilized. I'm trying to give back.
Yeah. Now, where can people find you?
They can find me on Facebook or Instagram. You can type in Bishop Matthew
You can
Bradby. You can
Google
type
them.
in.
I
You
did.
can Google me. Yeah, I'm all over the place on Google. I'm on YouTube. I'm on. I've been. I didn't know until I Googled myself. It's not the realest experience when I Googled myself. I said, "Good God, I got everything on there."
I
You
scared
know.
myself. I said, "Oh, if I'm trying to hide, they're gonna find me, Jesus."
Yeah. That's why I say, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. You can find me all over. You get, my hashtag is hashtag BMEB2. You can find me
Mm-hmm.
there, or just type in Matthew Bradby. You can find me anywhere on there. You can talk to Google and say my name, and I pop up. And I say again, was next. We're gonna do this master's class for real.
Okay.
Breathe easy,
Let me
breathe
know.
easy,
I would love to
and
share it on my page and
oh
stuff. Let
yeah,
me know.
yeah, because we
Yeah.
got so. I mean, everybody know at least two or three people that's going through divorce or breakup. With 56% of the marriages in divorce right now, I believe that I want to do two things. I want to heal those who broken and stop it before it starts. If
Yeah.
we can teach people holistically what to look for in the mate and how to go about the dating. We don't know about dating. We don't know about courtship. We don't know what to look for in a spouse besides a big booty and a smile for a man.
Mm-hmm.
Women, he got to have a job, girl, and he got to, you got to
Nice
look for people,
car.
nice car.
Yeah.
That don't mean nothing. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
need to learn what to look for in a mate and each individual person. I give tests out. I have a spiritual gifts assessment test. I also give
Mm-hmm.
out personality tests to people so you can find out what type of personality are you, where you come up on the spectrum. You know what to look for. Two type A's ain't gonna work out. Two bossy people ain't gonna work out because they're going to fight all the
No.
time.
Yeah.
It has to be that even kill. And we just need to know ourselves. So it's some testing I put people through, and then some coaching, some counseling, and then I'm blessed to say in my 28 years of ministry, only two divorces in all the marriages I've done. Only
Mm-hmm.
two divorces. So that
That's
we're
all
doing
right.
something right.
And you know what? I love the fact that you're not just talking to marriages that break up, but couples that break up. Because I think everybody forget that there are couples who are in, I don't care if it's 6 months or 6 years, and they break up. It's traumatizing to them. And everybody's all like, well, you'll be all right. That just wasn't your husband or that just wasn't your wife. Move on. It's not, their heart still got broken.
And
Their
and
heart
and
still was broke.
And in church, I don't allow one spouse to pull me up to talk about the next one. Like I had a woman come and say, Pastor, I'm going through, I want to talk to you. I said, no problem. We'll schedule an appointment and bring your
Mm-hmm.
spouse. And I've won more men I've attract more men to my ministry than women. I don't know why it happens, but I give honor and respect to our men. I don't talk to a man's woman by without him. I feel it's a sacredness. And if you're married to this woman, I don't, as a man or even as a pastor, have the right to superimpose myself just because she's one of my sheep. You are a
Mm-hmm.
husband. You need to be present when I talk to your woman. And I make sure my wife is there
Mm-hmm.
well to help. She helps with interpretations too. And it normally calms people down too when they start seeing my wife and she starts explaining, we don't teach this stuff, we live this stuff. And then the men's
Right.
like, how why, when can I come to the church? So I'm readily available for our men as well and our boys.
That's all right. I'm happy for y'all. All right. I got two last questions. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Now, if you could have anybody play you in your life story, who would it be and why?
If I could have anybody play me in my life story, it would have to be Martin Lawrence. He's the only one to be as funny as I am.
I can see that.
Martin
I
Lawrence
can
would
see
be
that.
my guy. My guy,
Did you
Martin
see the
Lawrence.
reunion show? I didn't get to see it yet.
I'm gonna watch it with me and my wife. See, I don't watch stuff without my wife because we make it a movement. We are a movement. We make it an event. We'll sit there. I got a theater in my basement, and we'll pop popcorn. We'll turn all the lights out. I got a 120-inch screen. The projector's going. We make this an event. So I'm going to watch that with
Yep.
her.
Y'all sound like us. This is darn shame because my husband has his, he hates the word man cave because he's like, because it's not a cave. So
Mm.
it's I call it his
My
movie
media
theater.
room.
Yeah, it's
It's my
media
media
room.
room.
That's what they, yeah. So it's laid out, and because I hate to even, I'm gonna tell you this story. When we first started dating, I was, he came to my house and I was bragging about all the movies I had. I had that, the one little rack. I
Uh
had the
huh.
one little rack of movies, and I was like, "Oh, I got all these movies," and da 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 da. He was so sweet. He was like, "Oh, that's
That's
nice."
cute. Yeah.
I get over here. He got two walls, a closet with digital movies in there, and I'm like,
That's me.
I said, "Oh, I feel so crunchy." I was like, because usually I'm the one that got all the stuff, and and I'm like, you ain't got this. He was just like, "Oh," I bet he got in the car, was like, "Oh, she's so cute. Her little
But you know,
movies and
your little movie set, a little movie rack.
her little movie rack, precious lamb." I felt so crunchy. I'm just sitting there looking up and down the wall, and he
Oh my
pulls the
goodness.
door, and there's another wall, and I
Yes.
got about 2,000 digital movies, and I'm
Yep.
like,
Yep.
he's like, I can give you a flash drive, and you can download some of the movies if you want to. I'm like,
That's me. That is me. You know, and I like
so
doing it because we allow this.
yeah,
It allows you to escape the world. You know, as a man,
yeah,
we fight
yeah,
against the world. We fight against so many things. So when you come home, you need an escape. You know, instead of running to the bottle, what I run to is my basement. I shut it down. I watched Top Gun
hmm
on my home theater system and got all happy again. You know, I'm like, wow, this is great. You know, I mean, discovering new sounds and
right.
new conversations.
Right, and that's him. He be like, "Well, babe, I'm about to go in your room." I'll be like, "My room." I'll be like, "Okay, go ahead."
But she'll
I'll,
she'll
I'll
come
stick my,
downstairs with, hey, look, my wife will
yeah, I'll
come downstairs
stick
with
my
her
head in
cover.
there. Yeah,
She come down
I'll
with the
stick my
cover.
head in. Oh, does well? It depends on what he's watching. Because if it's something scary, I ain't fooling with it.
Right.
If it's the news, I won't watch it because I don't do news.
Oh yeah.
But if it's a cartoon or a comedy or Marvel, I'm all in.
Right. I got you. My wife though, look, I don't watch movies until around 1, 2 in the morning because I know she's good to sleep upstairs. And I
Oh,
know I
okay.
won't do it. I just do that. I like to watch it late anyway with all the lights out. She said I'm weird. I said, well, I'm a
Hmm.
preacher and there's no demon should scare me. You know,
Right.
I
Nah,
can
I
turn
can't
that
do
stuff
it.
off. Yeah. It's fun to
I
me.
can't do it.
It's fun to be
Mm-mm.
scared.
No, because it took him probably 5 weeks to get me to watch Candyman. Because I was like, I
Oh.
remember the original, and I was like, I don't know, the original jacked me up, and that was during the daytime. This one wasn't bad because to me it was more of like a storyline than it was scary. It had moments in it,
Hmm.
but it was more of a story. But okay, we off topic. I can talk about movies all day. But
Right.
so last question. Here we go. Um, if you could have any song, which I already think I already know the answer to this, but if you can have any song be your theme song when you walk into a room, what would it be and why?
Made the work I've done speak for me.
Oh,
You know. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. You surprised me
Yeah.
because I thought you was gonna say who Jay Z.
Oh yeah, that one. Made the work I've done. I say, you know, when I see, I battle. It's so many great, you know, songs. You know, when I'm dressed from toe head to toe, I'm a classic man. We playing. You
Hmm.
know, I'm
Oh,
a
okay.
classic man. You know, I walk in
Yeah,
there, I'll be looking fresh. To death.
you walk in
But then,
sideways. I get
oh my,
it.
so wait, boy, I be walking up there. I be doing the baby dance. I walk on that joint like I come up in there, you know. But if anything, I say really that song will be made a work I've done speak for me. Not
Hmm.
after my death. Because we always think about after death. I want the legacy songs to be sang now. Because I want you to look at my life. Yeah, you know how to give the achievement awards to Puffy and them when they're alive. That's what I
Hmm.
want to see. I want to see the school that we built, my Christian Academy, built now. It's, you got, you know, we have ROTC, we have a trade setup. I want to see that now while I'm alive
Yeah,
and
yeah.
seeing it produce good Christian boys and girls in every marketplace arena. So may the work I've done will be good. There's so many songs they can play from the hip hop or neo
Hmm.
soul or R&B. But in a
Hmm.
nutshell, yeah, that would be my theme song right there.
You picked two perfect answers because I could see Martin, especially. the now Martin, because I love me some Martin, but yeah,
Yes,
I can see that. I can see that.
yes,
You know
yes,
what?
yes.
This was such a joy. It's
Yes,
such
it
an
was.
honor. I hope that I can have you back one
Yes,
day soon.
yes.
Okay, and if you got anything, I'll be more than happy to jump on board.
Oh my goodness. See, you might have started me and my wife podcasting. We had started a podcast a little while ago. It was called the
Mm,
Bradbys, and we was talking about marriage and we had a couple episodes. We actually have a couple episodes on YouTube. But we're
okay.
gonna get back to that because we share a couple stuff and we goofy and we laugh and everybody laughs at us. I think we need
Hmm.
to start that again because it was really hit, we
I think
got
y'all should,
okay.
because y'all
You
got a
encourage
story
me.
to tell. Y'all got a
Oh,
story to tell for sure.
definitely.
Well, thank you so much. Remember what I told you? Don't hang up. All right, thank you.
Take care.
I want to thank the bishop and all of you for joining me today. And I want to thank the Lord that my Wi-Fi didn't shut down. Thank you, Jesus. Um, y'all, this has really did my heart some good. I really needed this show and this Bishop. Thank you. If I know you still watching, so thank you. God bless you. So I will be back next Friday, same bat time, same bat channel. I hope I don't get sued for using somebody else's trademark. And as always, thanks for joining your one and only Worldly Church Girl.